this is my 2010 Nissan Altima Coupe. But it's not just any Nissan Altima Coupe, it's my Nissan Altima Coupe. But it ain't what the name implies. Yes, it might be an Altima, and yes, it might be a little bit messed up, but it's got a 3.5 liter V6 under the hood, making about 270 horsepower from the factory, probably like 250 now because I've got 260,000 miles on the odometer. This is the same motor that was in the 350Z. We got some nice battery corrosion right here. Unfortunately, I inherited this car from a family member, so I didn't get a choice in the transmission. It's running the infamous Nissan CVT transmission, which somehow isn't broken yet at 260,000 miles, over 260,000 miles. The key fob recently just died. I now have to take out the key to unlock my doors and stick it in this ignition slot in order to get it to start. It's got a pretty spacious trunk interior. I would open it, but right now it's not working, so that's cool. So I'm gonna go over everything that I've done to this car. Now, where most YouTubers would talk about what mods they've done to their car, I'm gonna talk about what weight reduction mods I've done to my car. So right here, right, we've got the hitting my friend's garage door paint reduction mod. It loses about 5 pounds, adds about 5 horsepower. It's a pretty decent mod, I'd say. On both of the front wheels, we have some rim paint reduction mods. These are from hitting my friend's metal grates on his driveway. I also curbed this one. This one's not as bad. The last wheel is a lot worse. My favorite mod by far that I committed is this rear tail light mod. Now, with this rear tail light, it really diffuses the light in a certain way. It kind of like mixes the red tint with the loss of red tint right in this region right here, and it provides a better and brighter braking light. And this crack right down the side, it adds aerodynamics. I got that one by hitting my mom's car in the driveway, and I got this one by backing it. I actually don't remember. I don't remember how this one happened. I know it was probably backed into something considering it's on the rear bumper. But in all seriousness, it's a nice car. I like this car. It's been with me my entire driving life. I've been driving it for 3 or 4 years now. Well, not quite 4 years. Its paint is disgusting. It's all ruined. That wasn't my fault, I swear. Lights are yellowing. There's some damage from when I was dumb. Ironically, or not ironically, but interestingly, all the damage was from when I first got the car, and I haven't done anything to it since. I've since grown. But yeah, it's a cool little car. It has some mechanical problems, but it definitely gets me to and from work, and it gives me some fun on the weekends. As we hop into this beautiful, beautiful cockpit with screen here, I can look over some of the options that we have in this car. So for starters, if we turn it on, oh yeah. So that is a bearing in the motor that is loose. And that bearing, it makes a nice little clicking noise. It's not rod knock, it's not knock. It's, we think it's a bearing. It's not a big deal. And I'm getting a new car soon anyway. We've got, you know, standard tack, speedo, fuel, oil gauges right here. We got the nice fat Nissan logo. We got a removable shift knob. This is a great mod. I mean, it makes it so much easier to remove your shift knob. We got a classic handbrake right here, which makes it fun, I guess. I mean, it's a front wheel drive car. I don't know how much drifting you're going to be doing, but yeah, so that's the 2010 Nissan Altima. I will start by saying that they made this car from 2007. They started making the previous generation of this car from 2007 to 2009, and then they gave it a facelift from 2010 to 2013. They only facelifted the front of the car right here. They gave it a new grille, new bumper, fog lights, in fact, kind of the whole shape was just a little bit lifted up, literally. It's actually, I think, a little higher off the ground than the old one. Yeah, that's about it for the for the facelift, but I think we're gonna go take it for a drive, show you guys what it can do. Whew. Nope, we're doing that again. All right, I'm not gonna make those noises. All right. Whew. This 2010 Nissan Altima has 245s on the wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, 245s. That's a pretty big tire for a Nissan Altima, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Consider
even the G37 from the era, like they had 235s. So it's like it's crazy that they put 245s on an Altima.
So yeah, we're actually here in an irrigation district. Oh, there's the car I want to get. Speaking of cars I want to get, I wanted to talk a little bit about the future of this channel before I continue talking about the car, as we are en route to the cool back road. So for starters, I want to start reviewing just like cars that me and my friends own, including this one. I want to review some parents' cars maybe. I doubt my dad will let me review his Tesla, but yeah, maybe we'll get there one day. But
it'll start off basic, but it'll get a lot cooler.
But yeah, I'm thinking about getting a Ford Focus, most likely a pre-facelift Ford Focus. That car really speaks to me, you know. I love that car. I love hot hatches. It's between that and the Mazda Speed 3.
Well, because wasn't it used in like rally racing?
Yeah, so the Ford Focus has some rally heritage to it. I mean, it was mainly the older Ford Focuses. I'll get to that in a second. It was mainly the older Ford Focus generations that were used in rally. Nowadays, Ford actually uses their Fiesta in rally. But
they didn't use the newer gen?
They do in other series, but in World Rallycross, or in World Rally Championship, I should say, they use the Ford Fiesta right now. I'm not extremely knowledgeable on rally though, so I'm not 100% sure if they maybe run the Ford Focus, but I haven't seen them run the Ford Focus. But they do run a Ford Focus in certain rally championships, and I think they have a rally cross championship that they're running with Ford Focus. You guys can, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments section.
If you get to the limit, would it like understeer hella or like oversteer at all?
You're definitely gonna have understeer. Yeah. It's front heavy, it's front wheel drive. And it's got pretty stiff suspension. So yeah, I don't really think that back end's gonna kick out anytime soon. But yeah, this car, as I mentioned earlier, has a CVT transmission with the removable shift mod.
260,000 miles.
It has lasted exactly 262,432 miles, which is a little bit over the life expectancy of the CVTs. And when I first got this car, I wasn't exactly nice to it, as I pointed out in the intro. But hey, it's here with me now. I just think it hasn't died because it knows how much I need it, it's there for me, that's why I love this car. And I'm gonna feel so bad when I move on to a newer car, but it is what it is. I think my dad's gonna inherit this car. Maybe he'll do something to it. Maybe he'll make it beautiful again. This is more of a introductory video to the YouTube channel. I kind of want to give you guys an idea of what it's all about, what to expect in the future.
Yeah, and like, how has reliability been? Like, if you had any problems with it?
So with reliability, this car really hasn't shown me very many issues. The only major repair I've ever had to do to this car was the alternator.
Didn't your AC also go out too?
Yeah, my air conditioning did go out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it like has a leak or something, because you put gas in it and it just keeps going out.
Well, so the problem with it is it's not running out of the refrigerant. It's just not, the compressor's not spinning.
Oh, so it's the actual compressor.
It's the actual compressor. There is probably most likely a leak, but the major problem is the compressor, because I've gotten it to jump start before and it worked for like good 2 months. Like the AC just started working again for like 2 months.
Oh, nice.
It eventually started getting warmer and I had to refill it because there is a leak. And then it just stopped working again, and it's been a while since that point. So, but we've just got through summer. We're up here in NorCal. We just went through a pretty hot summer. I mean, there was a point in time where for a couple months we were hitting averages of over 100 degrees. I mean, that's Texas weather, not NorCal weather. Are you kidding me? Like, we're right next to Oregon.
Yeah.
This is such a sick back road when you get a minivan in front of you.
Right.
Sorry.
Actually doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah, it kind of gets ruined. It kind of gets ruined by the CVT a little bit. Then, but I just tell everybody it's a supercharger.
Mine, it honestly sounds nice.
But
cut off valve.
it sounds nice until you know why it's whining. But yeah, do you see how long it takes for it to go up in the revs?
Reached like good power at like 30 miles an hour.
It took a solid 4 seconds to hit good power.
Yeah.
Like this is why the manual's better. This is why the manual. This has got like a close to an 8-second 0 to 60, whereas the manual is in the 5s. The manual's in the 5s. This is in the 8s usually. I mean, I've gotten into high 7s. Oh, nice. Look at that.
I mean, I think brand new, according to Google, it was like 5.8, which is really good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Not now, obviously.
This car wouldn't.
260,000 miles later.
This car never ever did hit 5.8 because of the CVT.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just they took such a cool car. They said, "Hey, let's take the 350Z and then the Altima, for some reason, make it a coupe, give it fat tires, fatter than the Z, fatter tires than the Z." Gave it the option to have a 6-speed manual, gave it the same motor, but detuned it for some reason, charged 30 grand and called it a day.
Yeah.
It's a cool car, it really is, but I just don't understand why you wouldn't buy a Z today. Like, I don't, that's why you never see these on the market. No one's selling them. You get a lot of 2.5s, but oh, this is where I got my Christmas trees.
And like, I've seen coupes of this that look like this, but I've never seen the V6 version.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I see about 2 or 3 of these a month, but they're always the 4-cylinder. Every single time, they're always the 4-cylinder. I've seen one 3.5 SE pre-facelift, but I've never seen a 3.5 SR, let alone finding one with a manual. And you know what? They offered this car, not only in manual, but they offered a red leather interior and an infotainment system with a Bose sound system. Which is
2010, so like it's not great, but
that interior, we looked at that interior, it was cool. Like, I would have driven that. Like, that was sick. But yeah, there's good luck finding that. You're never gonna find that.
Why? It's super muscly.
Yeah, it does. It does. I don't know why. It's a VQ. That's about it. It's on a CVT transmission.
Yeah, I mean, how's your gas mileage? Do you usually track that at all?
Yeah, so we can actually check right now. So usually it's 19. And it's 20 right now. That's not bad. Average speed of 28.5 miles an hour. That ain't bad, guys. That ain't bad. I mean, it's pretty bad, but...
I mean, it kind of makes sense, though. It's kind of what you get.
For a 260,000 mile gas guzzling V6, it ain't bad.
I mean, I'm sure you could get better if you're always highway driving and, like, babying it, but...
Yeah.
That's really not bad. Oh, I mean, they had, like, the Honda Accord Coupe V6 when that came out. I personally think this looks a lot better, but the Accord made a little bit more horsepower and had, like, 0.1 second better 0 to 60, but...
0.1 seconds?
Right. I mean, there was a Camry V6. They never made a coupe, though, and that made less power. Really, I think the biggest competition would be, like, the WRX, because it made, like, 265.
For the price, at least.
Yeah, because it's also, when these cars came out, they were, like, really similar in price.
It's kind of ridiculous that they sold this car for $27,000 and they sold the manual for $30,000.
Yeah, that is pretty ridiculous.
$30,000 in 2010,
and I'm
by the way.
kind of surprised because they charge more for the coupe. Like, if you were to get this same car in the sedan version, so the V6 still, it's $24,000 when it came out. It's like, oof, way too much.
Yeah, for a car like this, it's too much. It really is. I mean, it's a fun car and all, and it's good for me, but, you know, I don't think I would have gone to the dealer and bought it.
Yeah.
I really don't think I would have.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I've looked a little bit, and, like, these cars are hard to find. Like, I haven't found any, especially that are in good condition.
Explains why it was removed. It got facelifted after just, like, 2 years of use, and then completely eliminated in 3 after that, you know.
Yeah.
They just stopped making. I mean, they probably hit a contract expire, and then they were just like, yep, we're done.
And I mean, this car does have power dip, so like, what'd you say, like 0 to like 50?
Yeah, so weirdest thing, and I've heard it is a problem on these cars, not just in my car, but I guarantee you it's the CVT's fault. I get these things where when I hit 10 miles an hour, like 80% of the time, I'll dip in power. Like, I'll completely dip in power. So I'll go off the line, and when I hit 10 miles an hour, I'll just completely just like shut down. Like it almost seems like the car's braking. It ain't. It ain't braking. When this car just sticks to the road. So yeah, a big problem I have with this car is I get warped rotary. Oh wow, we're catching up already. I have warped rotors. You can kind of hear it, you can kind of see it in the wheel, just a little bit.
Well, because you used to like abuse this car.
Yeah, so the problem with what I did to this car is and keep in mind, this is all when I was younger, okay? I was 16, guys. I was 16. I'm almost 20. I would never treat this car that way ever again. And my new car is going to get a much better treatment. But 16-year-old me was very mean to the car. I used to have fun with it, hit the brake a couple times, get it pretty warm, and then I would just kind of, oh, I need to let it cool down. So I would just stop the car.
Great idea.
So those rotors were like, ayo, we're going from like 800 degrees, we're going from like 800 degrees Celsius to like nothing in like 3 minutes. Like, this is great. So a question that absolutely no one is having right now is, what's the livability like? Can I daily drive my Nissan Altima? It definitely was designed to be that way, but to modify that question, can you daily drive my Nissan Altima? Because my Nissan Altima, it's a little different than the others. It's a little special. I will say right off the bat, wind noise, you get a lot of wind noise up at the sunroof. If we close that, it negates it. Other than that, there's really no wind noise other than just like what you'd expect from a car this old. Its tires are very smooth, balanced. That's not really the car's fault. Suspension is a little shot in this car, just a little. You get a little bit of bounce when you hit bumps.
It's not too bad. I'd be curious to drive just like a base model Altima, see how it compares to
Like a new one?
Yeah. Well, no, like one of this era. Because, I mean, this one...
Or I meant like a new one of this era.
Yeah. Because, like, the suspension's kind of firm, but also, like, pretty soft. It's, like, it's very livable.
So let's talk about some of the competition with this car right now. If you were in the market to buy a car right now and you had a budget of about $8,000, you could get this car, right? But you could also get a WRX, a G35, a G37, and a 350Z. I'd say those are the main direct competitors to this car. An older WRX, mind you, of about the same era.
Yeah, and then you worry about reliability, the classic Subaru thing.
I don't think very many people are going to disagree that the WRX is cooler, but it is that Subaru reliability. You're not going to get it to 262,000 miles. You're not. I didn't think I'd get this.
Unless with spending a ton of money into it, yeah.
Well, you can make any car run forever if you spend enough money on it. Yeah, my Land Rover, it's been running for 10 years. It's only cost me $1 million. You know?
Yeah,
it's so reliable.
These cars are pretty hard to find. Like, there's also the Mazda Speed 3, you know? Makes like 263 horsepower. I mean, it is a hatchback, but it's right around like 8K, 9K. So that for a first car is solid.
You get the 6-speed manual transmission. You get that hot hatch sportiness. You get a pretty cool interior, pretty nice interior. And if you're into Mazdas, it's a Mazda, all right. It looks like a Mazda. Its front and back end just scream Mazda.
And I think this car probably does have a lot better tech than the Mazda Speed 3, but also less fun, you know? So it's like, what would you rather have? I'm pretty sure the Mazda Speed 3 also gets a little bit better gas mileage, but yeah.
Definitely does. I think it gets like 26 or something, 27.
Yeah. There's also the Ford Focus ST. I mean, they're a bit more expensive, but you also get really good gas mileage. You'll get closer to like 30.
32.
Yeah.
The G35 is essentially this car, but it's rear-wheel drive, and it doesn't come with a CVT.
Yeah.
And it's got a little bit more power.
Yeah, a little bit more power. Not as much as the 350Z. A little bit more luxurious, but also came out for more money.
And do they go for the same price now?
I mean, a lot of people just like beat them to shit that I've seen on Facebook. So usually they will be pretty cheap, but like G37s you could get for like 8K. But this car's looks honestly aren't that bad. I like the rear end a lot.
And you got the you got the power hump in the front.
Yeah, and I mean it does compare to like the Honda Accord V6 Coupe, but that just does not look as good.
Would I recommend this car? When you got cars like the G35, the G37, the WRX, the 350Z, all in a pretty, you know, similar price point, I really don't think I can sit here and tell you that this is the car you'd buy. I mean, maybe if you could get the 6-speed manual, if you could even find it, right, then I would say it's a cool car. I would say it's fun. I'd say it's cool, but the issue is, even if I did think it was a better value, even if it did have better power, even if it did have better options than the G37, for example, you're not going to find this car. You're not going to buy this car. It is nowhere to be found. And the 6-speed manual is even more rare. I mean, it is miles more rare than a CVT, at least I'd assume. And I haven't seen either. I can't, even in a 500-mile radius on Facebook, I can't find one, really. And, you know, just for that alone, I really don't think I don't think it's worth the hassle. And even if you do get one, I don't think it's better than a G35 or a G37. I have it because it was given to me, and I love this car because it's sentimental to me. But from an objective standpoint, other than it being kind of cool, I don't think I could recommend it to anyone trying to start. I would recommend that car. Cool car, right? I mean, but although this is one hefty door though. It's one hefty door. Look, goodness me, look at just the trunk of this door. Yeah. Like what? Shakes the whole car. Well, anyway, yeah, so that's the 2010 Nissan Altima Coupe. All right, well, thank you for watching. This is my first ever video on the Carlington YouTube channel. My plans for this channel, you know, I will eventually want to start reviewing cooler cars. I really appreciate it if you liked it to subscribe. If you didn't like it, you can dislike the video. It helps me a lot, and especially getting started with this channel, there's nothing more I could ask for than some traction. You know, I don't want to go through any power dips with my subscriber count. Well, anyway, thank you for watching this video. I'll get back to you with the next one.